Hey Guardians, Lumi here. If cleaning your Destiny vault feels stressful instead of satisfying, you're probably not alone. Destiny's storage system is way more complicated than it needs to be, but that doesn't mean you have to struggle. Every season we get more and more weapons, armors, rolls, and at some point your head just starts spinning and your vault kind of looks like a giant pile of what if items. Most guides either tell you just delete everything or assume you already know what's good, and neither of those actually help. So instead of, what to keep, I'm just going to give you a simple system that kind of helps you take the guesswork out of vault cleaning and maybe teaches you something along the way. Before we dive too deep into the video, I do want to preface with the fact that this is not a dim tutorial or like a god roll tier list. This is just purely a problem that plagues a lot of Destiny players, and I'm hoping I can help resolve at least a little bit of those worries. But we as Guardians have to kind of take a second and think about what our biggest mistakes are when trying to clean up our vaults. It's the question of, is this good? The question sounds smart, but it's actually the reason why vault cleaning feels impossible. The only question that really matters is, am I realistically going to use this? I mean, not someday if it becomes meta. I mean, like this season, next season, or is it a build I'm ever going to actually play? If that answer ends up no, then you probably don't need to argue with yourself. You already know what to do. Let's take this shotgun, for example. This is an old weapon I got from an Iron Banner season that has two really good rolls that I really do enjoy playing with. But I keep it not because of the fact I'm going to reuse it, but because I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to get another one again. Next, let's touch on crafted weapons. So while these aren't inherently rare, sometimes you spend a lot of investment on them, like this level 79 No Hesitation. You don't necessarily need to keep these, because you can always recreate a new one. But, I mean, ultimately it comes up to you. If you do see yourself using it, you may not want to have to reinvest later. Remember, this is your vault after all. Let's move on to talking about exotic weapons. Now, typically, I don't keep very many exotic weapons in my vault unless I use them in currently active builds. That being said, there are some exotics to keep, similar to Ergo Sum or some class exotics. There's also the Praxic Blade, which is pretty difficult to get another one due to it being locked behind a quest. Now, like I said, I don't typically keep a lot of exotics, but you may want to find yourself keeping some of them if you use them in active builds, or if you just, don't want to get rid of them. It's, again, up to you. Now, let's go into a tool that'll kind of help us clean up our vault. I like to use this tool from light.gg called the Roll Appraiser. Now, is the truth with all tools, this is exactly what you make out of it. You can use filters, you can gauge items, you can see pretty much your entire inventory, but what you do with it is ultimately up to you. For me, the way I use this tool is I use it to gauge how powerful some of my items are. If you look at the top right hand side of most of the pictures of the items, there is a little letter grade from A all the way down to F on how powerful they are. Now these are community judged, and based on that, they give them a letter grade. This is not to say that they are like the most powerful hands down weapon ever, but it does give you a good idea on maybe I should take a look at keeping this. A perfect example is this motif that I'm looking at right now. It has some pretty decent rolls, especially that incandescent in that second slot. We'd love to see that, so we're definitely going to end up keeping this weapon since I play a lot of solar builds. That being said, what do we do with the items we don't care about? Well, the nice thing about this tool is it works kind of like Dim as well, as you can click on it and then transfer them to, say, whatever character you're on right now, and from there you can just break them down. Now I know what you're thinking, Lumi, you missed out on armor. And yes, you're right. The reason I saved armor for last is because I'm actually kind of lazy when it comes to armor. Typically, I just keep everything that's 5-star and has a minimum of a 75 stat roll. The exceptions to that are exotics. The reason being is some exotics are pretty hard to get good rolls on, so a lot of times I will keep them if they're above 65, even if they're not masterworked or anything like that, and I will just keep my best roll for my exotics. So moving back to the whole point of why are we doing this? A messy vault isn't just annoying, but it actually makes the game feel heavier than it needs to be. Every time you open it, you're making hundreds of tiny little decisions, and that kind of burns people out. Cleaning up your vault isn't about being optimal, but it's about making Destiny feel lighter and a little more fun again. Looking at a vault full of random items you know you're never going to use never feels fun, it just feels cluttered. That being said, I am kind of curious on if you guys have any like dim vault rules or filters or anything like that. I generally love to hear them, and I hope you drop them in the comments. If this video helped you out, or you kind of like some of the topics we covered, I hope that you give it a like or maybe subscribe so you can see more future content. Making content like this for you guys is exactly why I'm making the channel. Thank you guys for watching, and good luck, Guardians. Have fun at your adventures in the Lawless Frontier.